I suspect there were a fair amount of you who were disappointed a couple of weeks ago with the voting going on in Congress. But we will have another shot at doing that. We intend to take that shot in July and then again in September. But let me just remind you of something. The President does have a lot of authority over military policy and so forth. It was the Republicans that made it impossible to pass that bill. Howard Dean starts out every day when it comes to Iraq with 49 votes. 49 votes. We lose Joe Lieberman on every Iraq vote. And Tim Johnson is not going to be back probably until September. So we start with 49 votes in the Senate. We need to get to 60 because the Republicans filibuster every opportunity that we have to try to get a bill through that will set a timetable for getting out of Iraq. But let me just call everybody's attention to something, not that this group didn't notice. Over the last week, there were two debates, a Republican debate and a Democratic debate. The Republicans not only supported the President's war policy, I think just about every single one of them, although one claimed it wasn't the case after the fact, every single one supported the President's idea that Iraq was like Korea, which means that they intend to keep our troops in Iraq for 50 years. We don't need a 50-year plan in Iraq. On the Democratic side said we ought to be out, and they were going to see that we got out very early in the administration, the next administration, the Democrat. So there's an enormous difference between those folks who are running for president as a Republican who would like us to stay in Iraq forever, and those folks who are running for president on the Democratic side who think we ought to be out as soon as possible. And the good news is that 70% of the American people agree with us, and they disagree with the President and the Republicans. So we will try again in July with the Defense Authorization Bill, and we will try again in September, and we will keep pushing this until one of two things happen. Either we get out of Iraq with a set timetable, or we make it really clear that there is a big difference between the Republicans and the Democrats, and it is the Republican Party and George W. Bush that are keeping us in Iraq, and the Democrats are not a part of that, nor will we continue to support that. Supporting our troops is not the same thing as supporting the President's failed mission in Iraq.